Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm sorry for the difference in the camera quality. My phone is like that on its way out. But I really want to talk about this book, Jamie by LD Lapinski, because as a lot of you know, I love reading LGBTQ plus books, and I especially think with everything that's going on in the world right now, it is even more important for us to talk about the literature within the LGBTQ community. Now, Jamie is a book that I have had on my to be read list for a while, but I have been really nervous to read it because I'm on the spectrum, the non-binary spectrum myself, and it's still something I really struggle with, and I'm always worried that when it comes to non-binary specifically, it's going to be a really triggering read for me. This book, in a lot of ways, has been, even though it's a young adult book, but it is a really brilliant. It addresses the non-binary identity in a very brilliant, comedic, and meaningful way. So we have Jamie, and it's never really revealed. So one thing that confuses me a lot about books like this is whether a lot of books will talk about whether someone was born, what they were born as. It's not addressed in this book, and I just think it is how it's done that is really brilliant. The text, if I'm not sure if you can see it, it's very easy to pace yourself and read, and just this book, it's brilliant. So we're going to discuss this book. One of the things that I love about this book is how it talks about a child dealing with the non-binary experience, which I think is a really unique perspective, and I wish this book was out when I was a kid myself. Or I don't even know when this book was released. If you give me a second, I'll just have a look. It was released in 2023, so I was 23 when this book was released, and I think having a book like this would have been brilliant, especially for younger me. I like how well Lapinski deals with navigating the difficulties of wanting to be seen and understood in a world where everything is based around gender, and it becomes really difficult for Jamie when high school is announced and they have to and things start off being like male and female, black and white all over again. What I really liked about this book as well is how it balances the tough moments of Jamie's life, gendering and people not getting it, with warmth, humour and a genuine sense of hope. I really liked how realistic Jamie felt to me as a reader as well. How I feel like a lot of books, when they typically address the non-binary issue, it's like quite often refers to characters as it, and that's quite an uncomfortable thing to read as a non-binary person as well. It's not even just about the representation, it's about how friendships and family respond to the non-binary spectrum, as well as the struggle of self-acceptance. Cat keeps meowing at the door, but he doesn't want to come in, and it doesn't feel forced, it feels raw and honest, which just really helps pull how realistic Jamie felt. If you're looking for a book about the non-binary experience, I highly recommend this one, because it's not just some books are like everything's positive, and I feel like that's a really unrealistic viewpoint to have of the world. And I really love how throughout this book it's got like little guides in it where Jamie talks about how so you've got like Jamie Rambo's Guide to Words, and it talks about some of the terminology with such as cisgender, transgender and the differences, as well as some of the struggles and what discrimination is, and it also like really plainly explains what those different things are, as well as gives a brief history about the non-binary and transgender community and identity, which I thought was fascinating how it was explained, because it's a I think it's a non-fiction. It's non-fiction where it's a work of fiction. It's a work of fiction, but there's elements of non-fiction in here, which I absolutely adore. How it's not just a story; it's an educational book. While it's not real, the actual story, it addresses a lot of real issues, as well as explains in basic terminology and ways that people can understand better what non-binary is and how it impacts different people and different things that people might not necessarily understand about the community, as well as the non-binary identity. I've overall rated this a 4-star read. I thought it felt really wholesome, and it was difficult at times as well to go through some of the trauma that Jamie was going through. I thought it was a really relatable book, and if you've got someone who's non-binary and you want to know more, then this is a brilliant book to read. I think it handles the terminology, the lived experience, and it explains it in a way that's easy to digest as well as understand, whilst also delivering a fun tale about someone who's non-binary. And I would recommend this to anyone who wants to know more, because it is simple but it's fun, and it's not just a book that's only about the representation. It's also about the story, and it's about some of the real life issues that some folk who are non-binary face daily. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out and see if I can find any more, if this author's done any more books, because I would love to read this author again. I thought it was very witty how they had wrote this book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it from start to end. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably going to buy this book as well. I'm going to assume the author is they, them as well, because it says they, them on the back. I hadn't thought about that. I don't know why my brain kept telling me different things. I don't know anything about the author, but this book was absolutely brilliant, and I highly recommend reading it. I'll see you in the next one.